We're coming to you again with the Street Scene Power Hour. Welcome. My name is Greg Roden, one of the hosts, and we have one other host with us today, infamous Larry Ward. Welcome, Larry. And we have a few guests with us today. First of all, Norm Kern. He is the vice president of MSTA, and he has some other information for us. Also, we have George David. Same name, same place, same time. We're on the Street Scene Power Hour, and welcome everyone here. And Larry, let's start off. Let's do a little bit of review what's been going on. So I'll start off with you. What's been happening in the motorcycle world and your world, actually?
My back continues to kind of slow me down a little bit, but it is getting better. So I missed the entire Moto America series, which I had credentials for at Pittsburgh International Raceway last week. Of course, that's a great circus. You definitely wanted to see it. And it's a good, close venue for a lot of people that can't travel to, say, Michigan or Arizona or California to see these races. And unfortunately, I missed them. But we continue to have real strong bike nights. Tuesday nights is the Ice House, and that's always big and strong. And, Wednesday night, they have the Yankee Lake. And once a month now, they're having it at Quaker Steak and Lube. So I think there's one more coming up like September 15th, that middle Wednesday. I've been working on a couple of projects. One of them was getting that old 93 Sportster of mine to get going. And so I got it all together and this and that and the other and kind of rode around for about 100 and some miles just to make sure it doesn't break. And first I stopped over my buddy with a trailer. And I said, hey, I'm going to go for a long ride, but I'm going to stay on major highway. So don't forget your phone just in case it blows, something happens. And And then struggled with my pickup truck. The reverse gear went out on it. And my Beetle. Yeah, and then you conned me into getting a Beetle and getting it fixed.
I did not con you into anything. I conned you to get a Beetle last year.
That's what I told Mrs. Ward.
It's my fault then. Yeah, I see how that works. Yeah,
under the bus, buddy.
I'm used to it. It's been like that quite a while for me. So
well, I think that bug-in will be kind of fun. Maybe you can stop by here and we'll all go up together. And we'll bring toe straps just in case.
Yeah, for which one, I don't know.
I'll tell you what, if you remember last year, I broke down 5 times going up there. And it was the bottom of the gas tank was plugged.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
Had to yank that whole thing out. Yeah, you know what? I'm a biker with maybe a Corvette and a VW. That's kind of where I'm at,
Yeah. Well, what Larry's talking about is the last podcast we interviewed Jim Sofer from the Bug Infestation in Geneva, and that's going to happen next weekend. If you're listening to this on the week of August 22nd, that's going to be happening September 3rd. And right. That's up in Geneva, and that's a big show. And even if you just go up to view it for the day, it's right on the lake, so you can get some good pictures with your Volkswagen or German car up there. It's all German show, so head up there. And we also did a show with the hill climb, Bellefontaine. Is that am I saying that right?
Well, yeah, they want you to say Bellefontaine.
Bellefontaine.
Yeah.
Bellefontaine. So I'll be blackballed for saying it that way. But that's coming up. Is that coming up this let's see, August 27th?
Yeah, this weekend.
Yep.
I had an invitation to run the Corvette, but I'd have to drive it down. And, I believe it or not, I'm much more comfortable with my back on a motorcycle than I am in the Corvette. It's got a Z51 suspension, so it's an 84, so it's one of the earlier ones. It's pretty harsh.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to have run it, so now I'll have to wait till next year to run it's the tallest mountain in Ohio. If you
sounds like a lot of fun. I'd love to run that one too. That sounds really.
Oh yeah.
You know what? Speaking of car shows and bike runs and all that, Rick and I went last Sunday to the All Oldsmobile show in Lake Milton. Had a few. it was, again, the weather kind of bit us in the butt this time. The weather is going to, had a good chance of rain. So we had I'd say about 50 Oldsmobiles show up, but look forward to that new episode of Street Scene coming next week, the week of August 29th to Channel 100, YouTube, and Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. So that'll be premiering. There's some rare stuff, and there was two that really stood out to us. One is Rick's pick, and I'm not going to reveal that one, but the other one, I can't even tell you how rare that car was. I mean, they made 10 of them, and there was only 4 left. So it was really, really something to see. So look for that. We want to get right down into business here. We'll start off. We'll leave George here for a minute too, because that's dealing with one of the best Chevelles I have ever seen. And it was the top winner at the Street Scene Car and Custom Bike Show this year. We want to get some details on George and their build of this car. But let's start off with Norm Kern. He is the vice president of MSTA. And Larry, take it away from here.
I'd like to welcome back Norm Kern. He's vice president of the Motorcycle Sport Touring Association, also the coordinator of the Mail Pouch Flyby, which is taking place all this week down in lovely Marietta, Ohio. You'll recall Norm joined us a couple of months ago, and we talked about membership and the club and stuff like that. But we also briefly mentioned the flyby. So now we've got a great opportunity. I'd like to welcome Norm back to Armstrong Street Scene Power Hour. And Norm, I know you're busier than a one-armed paper hanger, but I really appreciate you taking the time to stop by tonight. And let's get into the meat of the Mail Pouch Flyby. First of all, how long has the event been going on, Norm?
Okay, the event started in the late 1990s. They had it for 1 or 2 years, and as a regional event, and then they had their annual Star Rally at Marietta. I think that was in 1998, and then another guy, John Campbell, took over, coordinating the event. And he did it for 20 years, and he did it until 2017, and then I took over in 2018. And when I took over, I took it from a weekend event to a full week, since several of my friends and I would always, for about 4 or 5 years, we'd come over and just stay the whole week. And we had so much fun, we thought, well, since we're going to be here anyway, we might as well have this event for the whole week so that anybody else who has flexible time can come early and leave early, or whatever they want to do.
Well, the Motorcycle Sport Touring Association is a little bit different than a lot of other clubs, specifically the BMW clubs. And that is, it's what I'd like to call a hub and spoke type of rally, where you have a main location, which is a hotel, and then you have various routes that people can ride out and then back to the hotel in the evening. First of all, why do you think they picked Marietta? I have a good idea, but what do you think's the reason for that, Norm?
Marietta has, for the membership of our club, which is mostly east of the Mississippi River, and we actually have more members in Ohio than any other state. And, the states surrounding Ohio have good, strong membership. So it was a good central location to have a rally where, people didn't have to travel so far. Then we have unique roads in southeastern Ohio and West Virginia. So we were able to create a lot of really, really good routes. We have 31 routes this year to choose from.
Well, let's talk about the rally itself. You've increased it from a true weekend to an entire week rally. So let's talk about some of the things that people that arrive a little bit early can participate in. I know you've worked real hard on that part of it.
Okay. During the early part of the week, it's sort of a small rally atmosphere where there's not so many people here and it's easier to meet, for people to meet each other. And in the evenings, we have what we call dinner tours, where we provide transportation to take people, a couple miles downtown to nice restaurants and bars downtown for dinner. And we provide the transportation. First part of the week, when attendance is smaller, we use carpooling. Some of the people drive and bring trailers and stuff. So we can arrange for enough personal transportation to get everybody downtown and back. And then they don't have to suit up in their gear and ride downtown, and they can have an adult beverage if they want and don't have to worry about driving back. So that's really nice. This year, and actually the dinner tours, they used to run Monday through Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday, everybody was on their own to catch dinner. But this year, we have a food truck on Wednesday that is provided by the hotel, and everybody gets a free dinner. That's what I was snacking here before the show. And you just go to the front desk at the hotel, and they give you a ticket, and you get a $9 dinner for free. And so we're not doing the dinner tour tonight because everybody's eating here at the hotel, and we've got another one of our event features is we have half a dozen pop-ups with tables, and we have about 120 chairs that we bring, and we set those up behind the hotel, and we call this the outdoor lounge. And people can sit out there in the evening and socialize. If you want to smoke a cigar, you can smoke a cigar. And we have what we call the ABC, the adult beverage cooler. We just provide a big cooler full of ice, and people buy their favorite craft beer, and they put beer and wine and anything they want to drink in the cooler, and anybody can take stuff out of the cooler. And we found that it's a big social thing. People like to share their favorite brew, and they like to try other people's favorites. So, it's a really nice big social thing, and we have that every evening. On Thursday and Friday, we'll have dinner tours downtown again, and we'll have a lot of people. So we provide a shuttle bus for Thursday and Friday nights.
Okay.
And Saturday night, it looks like the food truck's going to be back. So.
Oh. Well, let me say this about Marietta. Marietta is the oldest city in Ohio. Okay. And the neat thing about Marietta is that it's an excellent jumping off point. If you go just north a little bit, you'll find some excellent roads like 555, 78, and some others. And there's also really cool sites like the Big Muskie, or where the Shenandoah went down at one time. They have that stored in a barn, a little mini museum. If you want to jump across the border and head down 16 or any of the other routes, you can go down to New River Gorge, the bridge where once a year they jump off and I guess have fun. That's not my cup of tea, but but the roads just around that area for 200 miles are just absolutely excellent. And the nice thing about being the oldest city in Ohio is that there's plenty to see, and the nightlife is vibrant. You have Marietta College right there. You've got a lot of nice eateries. You got a lot of nice bars and that. So it's a real cool place to start the whole event. So.
Yep. Well, you know what? Hold that thought on Norm. We've got more coming up on that event. And George, we want to get to both of you. We have George David and George David. So, what we did, we had last month, we had the 10th annual Street Scene Car and Custom Bike Show, and great turnout. We've talked about it before. It was hot as you know what out there, but we had our pickings of the best cars and bikes, and the top winner went to George David for their 69 Chevelle build. And you know what? I have to say this build is incredible because not only that everybody, it seemed to notice it. I had two videographers there. It wasn't me I was running the show, but they both got more video of your car than any other car and both of them. And they're not car people. They just kind of flock to that car. So, give us a little, I have some pretty, I'll say piss poor pictures of the car right now because I grabbed them off video, but I'll show them anyway. Give us a little bit of, from what I understand, remembering your interview, you haven't had this car built for a long time, right?
Well, we did have we did it about 2010, 2011. We had the car completely redone and took it out, and we did a really good job with, who had, did the job. And so we took it down to Columbus in 2012, and we did very well at the Good Guys show. Okay. So it's been a car that it's, for some reason, people just love the way it's shaped. That didn't last about 10 years. So we were having some problems with the car, and we had some rust spots and some dings and the paint, So we wanted to do the car all over. Instead of doing a patch job, we really wanted to do a complete job. So we took it, and we went around looking for different people to give us an estimate. Our biggest biggest thing that we wanted to have done was to make sure it was done by Good Guys in this year. So a lot of guys said no way. There was no way that you could do it. About 5 years ago, we had the interior done by Mongoose Motorsports, so it was Porter's Trim. Okay. And they also have a body shop in there, and they did cars. So we went up there and saw them and asked them if they can have it. This was like back in September of last year. And they took a look at it and says, yeah, we could have it done. So that was, we really didn't know if that was going to happen or not. But they finally said they seemed like that they were really going to do that. So we gave it to them in November, and they started dismantling the car and everything. And so in that time, we had time to look at wheels, paint, and other features that we wanted to get done. And if you want to go over and tell them what we did, like the door handles.
Yeah, we, like he said earlier, we just, the car, when we originally did it, it was, it was beautiful with the black and gold originally. We struggled because so many people liked the original car to begin with that, everybody kept saying, oh, don't change it, don't change it, don't change it. Well, we wanted to do something completely different. And, when we brought the car to a car show, we wanted people to see a completely different car. And that's what, that's what we did. Some of the things that we wanted done, obviously you can see the door handles. Those are the Condigit door handles. We did have Mongoose install those. The wheels are billet specialty wheels. They're actually they're not one-off wheels, but with billet specialty, you have to measure everything, and then you send the measurements into the company, and they actually make the rims for you. So those are the billet specialty rims. The mirrors on the side are all new. I can't remember the name of the company of those. All the markers, the emblems, everything. We shaved everything. The antenna we shaved. The trunk button, as you can see on that, that was kind of cool too. They put this little like push button trunk release thing. It was really neat. Actually, Mongoose kind of, came up with that. So it just came out. I mean, like you said, it just came out absolutely beautiful.
But the color was the one that really, brought it completely. We were going all kinds of different shades and different combinations and everything. And what they wanted, I wasn't with that selection, but it was, I guess I got outvoted. My son and my grandson are the ones who picked the colors. And I got to admit, it did turn out really nice.
Yeah, I think and it seems like anymore, a lot of the cars that we get are, grays and silvers and that really, I think it makes it look so classy. You've got, how did this car start off when you first got it? Now, how long ago did you get this car?
Actually, that's kind of, the car has been in the family since I was 17 years old.
Okay.
I am 48 now. Yep. So the car has been with us, since then. Originally back in 1992, the car was original. It was the Olympic gold with the black stripe down the side. Black vinyl top. Yep. It had the 396, everything, but it was more, just the original. So,
now, did it come with did you have a 350 in it, or did you have something, a big block in it at that time?
It had the big block at that time.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Okay. So, you did that.
Through the years, we just did little minor things and patch jobs here and there. I had a 57 at the time, and 57 Chevy. So about 27, 28, I decided I wanted to sell my 57 and the Chevelle, and I wanted to get me a hot rod. Okay. Well, what happened, I did sell the Chevy, and it went to Australia. But
wow.
These guys ganged up on me with Mom, and Dad's planning on selling the Chevelle. Well, we had a little family meeting, and Mom says that ain't gonna happen. We're gonna get that money out of that Chevy that you sold. We're gonna put it into the Chevelle, which was a very good idea. I gotta admit.
It was probably the best thing that happened. Main reason why is the car has brought us, my dad, myself, and my son. So
it's like a generation thing. And at one time we had an emblem saying GGZ edition, it being all three of us coming up with the color, coming up with the design, coming up with everything that makes that car the way it is.
Yeah. Wow. So, this has been a long road for this car. And any rust issues when you first, you said it was stock for a long time. Any rust issues pop up with those? I know there's always certain spots on these cars that tend to go.
Yeah, especially the final top, especially the back window. That was always a problem. Even now, when we did it, we had it replaced before, and again, it had the same problem where it had the rust, and so we had to replace that again. So,
yeah, it seems like if you don't keep up with those vinyl tops, they get that moisture under there, and it's like putting a trash bag over bare steel, in the rain. So, you came to the Street Scene Car and Custom Bike Show. Where were you coming from? Let me ask that question. When you came there,
we're from Canfield.
Okay, you're just from Canfield. So, as if you're watching this, if you're listening to us on the podcast, check it out on YouTube. We've got a trophy that they have. We had a custom made from Youngstown Cycle Supply. Any other cars that you build over time, or you still have, or kind of wish you kept or wish you had from days past?
Well, I started years ago when I was first like 17, 18 years old. I had a 31 Ford Coupe that I had. I didn't build it. I bought it like that, and I just drove it around. And having a 31 Ford Coupe when you're a junior, senior in high school, it was like you were number one. I really enjoyed that, and that's one of my reasons why I just fell in love with doing cars and driving and customizing cars and stuff like that.
Right now, inside of my garage, my son has a 1979 Chevy C10 short
wow.
bed. And
Square body. Yep.
Yeah, we actually just tore it apart. The motor's out of it, and the whole front clip is off. He's actually a mechanic for General Motors.
Oh, geez.
In Lima. So he has some ideas of what he wants to do, and so like I said, that's being in the garage right now. So
yeah, is it a step side or is it long
No.
bed? So short bed.
short bed.
So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like that's a good project. Come with a 350, I'm assuming, under the.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. That's those were good years for that. Larry, go ahead.
The value of those things have gone up, well, just like everything else, like the Corvettes. But I mean, I was looking at one, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I was like, I'm not gonna pay that. So, but yeah, just crazy. Everything's gone up.
Yeah, you look for.
Believe it or not, but I don't know. My son was 15 at the time. We were down at Good Guys, and I bought that truck and drove it home from Columbus. I paid $2,500 for it.
Can't get that anymore. Yeah, there's no way you're going to find that deal anymore. At least something that I've seen those go, online for. You're looking at $3,000 for something that's got holes in the frame and rusted out, and the trucks are so hot now. The Blazers, the Broncos, they're untouchable at this point because if you're looking for a Bronco or something like that, they actually make the bodies, and they make them right up here in Canfield, right up right up on the 446.
446.
Yeah. Rust Belt Broncos. A good friend of ours, he builds those, and
isn't that something?
yeah, it's amazing what you can do now. I was just I had to pick up some parts for one of my cars, and I was looking back, and the last time I replaced the parts, the aftermarket parts, it was probably in the 90s, and the aftermarket parts back in the 90s were so horrible quality. Yeah. And now they've come so far. There's still a long way to go, to get them actually perfect. But I look back then, it's like, oh my God, these parts were so bad. No wonder they didn't last for a long time. But there's got to be, I ask people this all the time, and Larry knows what I'm going to ask. What is dream cars for you two? There's got to be something that, we all have a dream car. We all have many of them. And, some we won't be able to touch at this point, but there's got to be something that you've always looked at and it's going, man, I'd love to have that.
Well, mine was a hot rod.
Yeah.
31, 32 Ford, just, drop dead, started, go, air conditioning. I like the running boards and the fenders, long fenders. And, that's my dream car.
George number two. There's got to be something.
Probably got it.
Yeah, actually, that's, it was the Chevelle, to be honest with you. I, for I don't know how many years when I was, 15, 16 and it was a Chevelle. It was, I liked the 70s, 70, 71. Yeah. But then when I came across the 69, it was just as beautiful. So, But yeah, that's probably, my car.
When you were talking at the last podcast, you mentioned there wasn't very many Chevelles
No,
at the show. I mean, I was really surprised when you said it.
There was two, and yours was one of them. And I was going to say that it seems like when we've been going out to a lot to these shows, Larry, I don't know if you've noticed this. There's a lot of, again, I say this 100 times. I love the oddball stuff, and stuff. It's like I haven't seen that. I don't care if it's a Monza or a Vega. I'm drooling over because I haven't seen it forever. Or it could be a Dodge Omni for all I care. It comes in, but we've been seeing a lot of different cars. We get the Mustangs and Chevelles, and we get but now you're seeing different stuff. But there was two Chevelles, and I was blown away. But again, yours stood above the rest. Of all the cars, obviously, because you won the trophy. But we've been seeing that. Larry, have you seen that coming up through the ranks?
Well, I think you see a lot of what we call S197, the like 04 to 09 or 10 Mustangs. You don't see a lot of Fox bodies out there. And you don't see, I can't remember the last time I saw a GTO judge at a car show. There's one down in Columbiana that the guy wants a lot of money for, rightfully so. But, there were one or two GTOs. We did get to see a couple Hearst Oldsmobiles at the show. I thought that was pretty cool. But, I don't know. I was surprised that we don't see a lot of tuner cars. A lot of these kids like your son, with tuner cars. But they do it. They're probably, I know I see a couple of them like Sheets in Austintown. I see them starting to hang out there over on Boardman Plaza on the strip. Stuff like that. And that's kind of neat because that's what we all used to do when we were younger, is just congregate. And then, if somebody thinks they got a faster car, well, you'd line them up and find out.
Well, we can't do, I know they do hang out at the Sheets in Canfield there. Boardman, my son's always up there hanging out.
Right.
But the one thing, you can't race in the roads like we used to. But
that's for sure. Used to
George
down Market Street. We used to do that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a perfect place to do that. Now, George, did you let George drive the car in high school?
Yeah.
I drove it to Cardinal Mooney.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you burn the tires off of it?
I sure did.
You admitted it right there. That's great.
See that? I knew it. Oh, well, I did it too when I had my 31.
Yeah. I always remember, I was always thinking of my friend John. He used to borrow his dad's T-Bird convertible. It was a 65, I think. And I remember he'd go up to, there's a car wash right down the road, and he'd always be trying to power wash the rubber off the inside of the wheel wells before he'd go home.
Yeah.
And I just thought of that today. I'm like, man, his dad had to have known, And then he'd come back, there had to have been rubber laying all over the wheel wells. So
I'd say in the late 60s, going up and down Market Street, there was a Burger King up there on the corner of Midlothian. We used to kind of hang out there, and then you'd come on down. Everybody would park in the parking lot. You'd watch cars going up and down, and sometimes you see them racing going up and down. I know I did my share with my GTO up and down there. That's for sure.
I think everybody did. Yeah, we all just, that was the thing. Summer night, you just cruise up and down, and then you would just hear wheels screaming and engines blowing, and that was the time. We had a great time.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to happen too much anymore. It's I don't know, it's
now it's different. It's they go to different place now. We have car shows and stuff like that, and it's just more of a gathering point that I'm thinking of. Like the big one, like Good Guys. I mean, when we took our car down there this year, we just barely made it down there because matter of fact, we went to pick it up and it still didn't have the car done. It still needed to be detailed. So we went down to Good Guys and they trailered the car down on Thursday, and Friday started the show, and then we put it in for the Mighty Muscle Car Choice Awards, and Saturday they came over and we won the award for that. But that's a great just like you guys came over. Hey, Rick came over and said, hey, we're going to pick your car as the champion, award. I said, that's a great feeling. Let me tell you.
Yeah, that's well, I guess you didn't really need your car detailed going up to the Good Guys cruise, did you? It didn't matter anyway. You got it.
Well, they finished it up.
Okay. I thought you said they didn't detail it.
No, they didn't.
Wow.
But, the guy, when we picked it up, we were out there in the morning to pick it up, and he said, "Well, it's not done. You got to give me at least a day to do it." We said, "Oh boy." So he said, "Just go down there, and we'll get a trailer down to you." And that's what they did. And they had it completely all detailed out. So that was great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Pretty cool.
We're going to wrap the show up here pretty quick.
There's an event coming up that you might want to hear about.
That's what I was going to say. Do you have anything that's coming up that we need to know about?
Yeah, the 8th, 9th, and 10th of September up in Geneva. It's called Thunder on the Strip.
Yes.
I'll be up there, and my buddy's taking his toy hauler, but we got 3 or 4 guys going together, and I got a huge tent that I'll pitch, and we got it already worked out so that we could get transportation to and from Geneva back to our camp, because I'm not going to ride my bike, not at night, and not when I'm drinking, for sure. But it's going to be big. I mean, it's called Thunder on the Strip, and it's already huge. All of the places up there that you would camp or bring a camper or camp, they're all sold out.
Yeah,
we were lucky to get that one of the last spots. So that's going to be a big event. It looks like a fun kind of thing too. It's probably more adult oriented, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of teenagers up there, and it's after Labor Day, so all of the tourists and stuff are usually gone by then. So you're going to have a lot of people that are, interested in motorcycles, and they're going to be up there. So that should be a fun time.
Yeah, that I haven't been to that one before, but I've always heard good things about it. I mean, they're cruising the Strip, right down there in Geneva, and that's a really nice show.
I started riding. I've had the BMW. Now I got the Royal Enfield Himalayan, and I got the old '93 Sportster. And I was riding around about 122 miles today, just settling everything in, making sure I wasn't going to I had to stop 2 or 3 times, adjust the carb, this, that, and the other. I got home and I was tired. I mean, you forget what an older motorcycle compared to the new Luxo things that almost drive themselves. But, you forget how heavy the beast is and how the brakes are, and, but you also remember the sound of the bike, the mechanical sound and the exhaust sound. So, it's good to get on it once in a while, but I don't want to make a living on it. It's a lot of work.
That's one thing we've talked about. It just crossed my mind that we've had this conversation before. It's the newer cars are so easy to drive,
Mm-hmm.
And George, either one of you, you get that feeling when you get in the Chevelle. It's like, I have to work to drive this car, and that's really fun. I had some guy come up to me. I bought some parts off of this guy, and he had in his garage, he had a new Hellcat and an 07 Mustang. It was a Shelby.
Yeah.
And he goes, I said, boy, that Hellcat looks nice. He goes, I'd take that Shelby any day over the Hellcat. I'm like, really? He goes, the Hellcat's great. He goes, you step on it, you're pinned to the seat, and it goes in a straight line. He goes, but the Shelby, he goes, it's a little bit less refined. And he goes, I have to work to drive it. It's a lot more fun. Now, do you find that with the Chevelle and anything else that you drive like that?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, coming back, I drove the car up to Mongoose up in Ravenna. Going down, 76. I mean, I was like, my hands were glued to the steering wheel, and my wife's saying, "You're not talking." No, I'm driving because I'm afraid.
I'm gonna mess my seat up in a minute. Yeah.
Oh my God! You gotta. And then these guys are honking horns, and I ain't leaving. I'm just getting to the place. I just want to stop. And then I had to peel my fingers off the steering wheel.
You guys would remember back in the day, whether it's a car or a motorcycle, you had to be a pretty fair backyard mechanic, or you might not get out on date night. I know that I had to do a lot of stuff when I got it out of the mothballs, just normal stuff. carburetor stuff, this and that. But I know when I had my 55 Chevy or my GTO, you worked on them. That was the fun. That was the pride you had.
That's true.
Especially if your car ran good and was one of the ones that people point to and like, hey, I'd like to try and see if I could beat that guy, and you feel good about your car and you feel good about the fact that you're the guy that works on it and keep it running and stuff. So, and I think that sometimes I'm glad to see the younger kids with these tuner cars because they're working on their cars. And different types of cars, but nonetheless, they're doing what we used to do. So I applaud them, and it was fun. So,
case in point, my grandson. I mean, he grew up with the Chevelle, and he grew up with us, with the cars. No, that's his profession now. And I applaud him. And I keep on telling him, just keep on going to school, learn more and more.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you get that thirst to learn more the older you get. As we have all found out, it's like you kind of soak it in a little bit better. Whether you remember it or not is the question.
That's the thing. You get my age. Yeah, you get my age, you forget everything.
Hey, I had a question for you guys. I noticed when they showed the front and the wheels, it looked to me like there was a spacer behind the wheel. So like the wheel didn't bolt right up to the hub. It looked like there was a spacer between the wheel and the hub. Is that true?
No.
Okay.
It's just a deep. Oh, it looks like a.
That's not our car. Is that?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You see what I mean about it looks like a spacer. That's all.
Yeah.
But it's probably just the
wheel
fine.
design.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm. Nice.
But, anyway, we're gonna wrap up the show. I wanted to remind again on this podcast that September 25th is a Hollywood Nights cruise. We'll be, Rick and I will be up there. October 9th is Rust Belt Revival. If you haven't been to that show, that is one to go to. You want to see some hot rods, customs, anything like that, they pull them in. So that's one. I got an information from our friend Vinny Barbone. October 23rd, Cars, Cats, and Canines. Now, soak that in for a minute. It's Cars, Cats, and Canines. What they're doing, they're having a lot of exotic cars coming to Angels for Animals up in Canfield. So they're going to have on October 23rd, Cars, Cats, and Canines. They're raising money for Angels for Animals, which is awesome because I know Vinny's, real heavy into raising money for them, and that's great. And the employer he works for is well into raising money for Angels for Animals. So make sure October 23rd, mark your calendars, Cars, Cats, and Canines, and Angels for Animals. That should be a good show, and that's going to be a nice, cool show. So it's in October. Hopefully, God knows what the weather is going to bring, but hopefully it should be a little cooler.
The Hollywood Night Show on the 25th of September, that's a Sunday. Where's that located?
That will be, and I think I'd have to look, and I don't have everything in front of me. I'm pretty sure it's up at the Union or the Lordstown Union Building. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to look, but you might have to Google that one.
Is that about a 10 or 11 o'clock start?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that should be a good one. So, we've had them on before. Should be a good show. Anyway, we wanted to thank George and George David for joining us. Norm Kern had to jump out on us. He was busy. I knew he was busy with everything going on, and welcome him. Make sure you go up, to that event as well. So for Larry Ward, my name is Greg Roten.
Will.
And Larry, we'll see you
down the road.
There you go.